In this lecture, what we will do is we will first revise all the things which we have learned, and then maybe we will discuss few of the takeaways from this course. So, I hope my screen is visible. Okay. So, yes. Sir. So in this course, these are the outlines which we have covered. The first one is interaction between economy and the environment, the implication of national income, issues of sustainable development, impact of economic growth on environmental degradation, issues of externalities and methods to regulate externalities, impacts of uncertainty and information asymmetry on choice of policy instruments for regulating externalities, then methods for economic evaluation of environmental goods and services, and then at the end, the optimal extraction strategy for renewable and non-renewable resources. These are the modules which we have divided the course into. In the first module, we have learned about the linkages between environment and economy. Here we have discussed that there are four major service which an environment give us. First one is supplier of energy and raw material. Second one is waste sink capacity, and then amenity value. And then the final one is provision of global life support system. So all these services are used either for production or for dumping out the waste into the nature, right? During the production and consumption period, there are certain amount of goods and services which are being produced and consumed. After that, from consumption end, we are getting factors of production to the production side, and there is recycling in each of the process during the production as well as during the consumption process. And um all these services are limited because environment is limited resources. When we use certain amount of environmental resources in supplier of energy and material, then we will lose the amenity value of the environment, or we will, if we dump a lot of garbages into the environment, then we will lose the amenity value. E1, E2, E3 are constants. The sum of E1, E2, and E3 are constant, and optimal allocations or usage of environment is important. We need to use environmental resources for the economic growth. So without economic growth, uh, if we do not use any resources, then there will not be any growth of economy, or there will not be any utility in the to the society. However, over utilization of environmental resources may again lead to the negative impact on the environment. Therefore, we are learning how we can use the resources optimally while taking into consideration the impact, or what will be the optimum level of environmental services which we can use without impacting or without destroying the environment. So this is how, like, this is overall the course is about. And after that, we have covered environmental goodness curve. In this, what we said is that with increase in income capacity, for any kind of pollutant, let's say that um, CO2 emissions or SO2 emissions, or um, any kind of pollutants in the water, with increase in per capita income, there will be increase in emission per capita. However, after certain point, there will be reduction in emission per capita with increase in income per capita. So we said that the increasing part is for developing is contributed majorly by developing country, whereas the reduction part is contributed by developed country. So what are the arguments for this growth curve is that the linear growth of economy. So for initially when the economy is improving, agriculture will uh, contribute significantly for the economic growth. However, with higher growth in the economy, the manufacturing sector, which is energy intensive, leading to higher emission, will be one of the main reason. So that is why the growth is high with increase in income per capita. After certain limit, what it happen is that there is adoption of more efficient technology. So the technological impact is higher after x star point. Therefore, the emission per capita is reducing. So the scaling effect leads to positive in the emission quantity, and technological effect will be negative for the emission. So with advancement of technology, uh, lesser emissions. So after that, the composition effect, and then international trade like foreign direct investment transfer will impact. So another important point is that pollution heaven hypothesis. This is applicable for the developing country. So for developing country, what it happens is that there is lesser standards because they will focus more on the economy of the nation rather than cleaner environment. So since the firm can escape the and stringent environmental standard, they will go there and do their manufacturing or production processes. So this will lead to the high emission in those developing countries. So this is known as pollution heaven hypothesis. So these are the few arguments that any kind of emission will follow this kind of curve. So uh, another point is that uh, uh, with improve in the economy of a country, let's say that K is the total capital. K1 is the capital which is used for production, and K2 is the capital which is used for pollution abatement. So what this point states is that with uh, improve in the nation's economy, the nation will try to focus on the pollution abatement side, improve because they have certain level of economy. However, developing country will focus more on the production side so that their economy will grow in faster pace. So therefore, with improvement in the per capita income, after certain point, the pollution abatement, the capital for pollution abatement will um, improve. So that is one of the another arguments. So from here we can see that in a way however, this kind of relationship is applicable only, like let's say if we try to make the equation like this, where YIT is our independent variable and xit is our income. So when our coefficients alpha, beta 1 and beta 2 have certain conditions which is being fulfilled, then only we will get the EKC curve. However, in this case, if alpha, beta 1, beta 2 all are 0, then we can say that income does not have any impact on the environmental quality. And if all these coefficients are more than 0, then we will get this kind of curve. So EKC curve will be obtained only when the income and emission per capita have alpha more than 0, beta 1 more than 0, and beta 2 less than 0. So this kind of relationship, only then we can achieve the EKC kind of curve. So that is one of the thing that not many a times the income will follow this kind of relationship with the emission. So that is another that is the point. uh, so if we try to find the turning point, then what we will do is we will try to differentiate this equation with respect to income. So we get beta 1 plus 2 times beta t. So therefore the turning point will be achieved at maximum point where there is emission, right? So we will equate the differential value to 0. So then we get the value of turning point as minus beta 1 upon 2 times beta 2. So this is the EKC kind of curve where we say that after a certain income which is equal to minus of beta 1 upon 2 times beta 2, the emission will reduce. So that is what it is trying to say. However, there are various limitations for EKC hypothesis. So when we try to uh, okay, till here, if there is any suggestions or anything, any questions, then we can do that also first. Or yeah, Pujarini, are you trying to ask something? Okay, so if there is any question, then uh, uh, in the mailbox or in the chat box, or you can just unmute yourself and you can interrupt me at any point of time. So now, this is the EKC hypothesis is like we are saying after certain point of growth in the economy, the emission will be taken care by itself. Like let's say that after certain X star value, the emission will come down. So here the emission is increasing when the country is in the developing phase. However, the emission will reduce after certain point of time. So that is what environmental goodness curve is trying to say. However, there are various flow in this hypothesis. So yeah, this hypothesis is not applicable for all the pollutants. Let's say that it is applicable only for local pollutants. So in local pollutants, we have sulfur dioxide, nitrous oxides of any form, carbon monoxides, or suspended particulate matters like dust or ashes, flying ash, or etc. So for this kind of pollutants in the environment, we can say that EKC follows. However, for global pollutants such as CO2, carbon dioxide, the environmental Kuznets curve do not follow. So another thing is that for let's say that environmental degradation indicators like pollution in water, or let's say ozone layer depletion. So all this kind of another indicators for pollutant, uh, there is mixed support. There is either no EKC following case or mixed support of environmental Kuznets curve following things. So EKC assumes that declining in environmental quality is temporary and there will be improvement after certain time. So many a times, another thing is that let's say that even though the level of pollutant increase, emission per capita increases, let's say it reduce also, there might be a case where it started increasing again. So this kind of increment happens because during the reduction of pollution, let's say from X star, we do not change any structural we do not do any structural change in the let's say that the structural change in the overall system, but there will be improvement in the efficiency. So the emission will reduce. However, after certain time, the cost of abatement of emission will be so high that emission will again try to go towards the uh, increasing pace. So it follows N kind of relation. So this N kind of N shape EKC hypothesis is because of end of pipe treatment. So end of pipe treatment is that when there is, like, let's say that uh, when the cost of abatement of pollution is so high that we are not able to do so, this kind of in this kind of cases, there might be a again increasing case. Another is that EKC is a flow concept where environmental quality at any point of time depend on the stock of pollution. Let's say that CO2. So the environment have certain CO2 tolerance capacity. So if a country emits CO2, initially it will not impact. However, when all the country try to add into the overall sink of environment, then it will impact, right? So the global warming is one of the example where when the first country emits CO2, it does not matter. But since the at current age, since the CO2 in the air is already very high, so the marginal increment, like the marginal emission done by developing country will impact very high, that we have to face a lot of problems such as global warming or climate change or various natural disasters because of this environmental change. So therefore what we say is that when the stock of pollutants in the air is not so high, then it might not impact. But EKC do not take into consider this case. So therefore we can say that EKC not necessarily is applicable for measuring the sustainable development. So EKC is one of the hypothesis or one of the theorem proposed that this is some kind of trend which a country will follow. Why? Because initially there will be more focus towards the production. However, after a certain standard of living of people, after a certain income which the citizen does, after that they will try to focus on environment. However, environment will not wait for a certain time that now this country will achieve certain kind of economy, then they will take care of me, because there will be irreversible impact on the environment. After that, we cannot do anything. So therefore, the policy implementation implications which we can do is that we cannot blindly rely on EKC paradigm, and living that there will be growth. However, the environment will automatically take care of it after certain increment in the income of people. So this is not true. Second one is that EKC is not applicable for all kind of indicators. So it is indicator specific kind of hypothesis. And the most important point is that there is no more mention about the time. So what time will it take to achieve the X star, after which the environmental quality will start improving. So there is no mention of this. So that is one of the another limitations of EKC. So now we move towards the economic implications of environment. So when a country measure its economic growth, it is either done by GDP, gross domestic product, and then GNP, net product, NDP, NNP, etc. However, for sustainable development, there is a need of another measures. So then okay. So then we try to formulate GNNP, green net national product, and then we try to define genuine savings. So this I will cover in the next slides. So after that, we have defined economic growth. So it is distributional aspects of growth, and then sustainable development. So this is one of the important part of this course. Why? Because we are trying to define sustainable development based on which the economy and usage of environment is being done, that we are developing while taking into consideration the environment, the need of future generation. So sustainable development in exact word is defined by uh, Brundtland Commission 1987. So development that meets the need of present generation without compromising the ability of the future generation to meet their needs, distributed on the basis of equality between present generation and the future generation. So if there is growth currently, it should not compromise the need of future generation. So that is what the definition tells us. So there are various measures, like various uh, measures to calculate the sustainable development. First one is that outcome based approach. In this, for sustainable development, consumption should be non declining. Let's say that total utility will be a function of consumption and environmental degradation. Let's say y. Then for utility to be non declining, so over the time du by dt should be more than 0, and the consumption dc by dt should be more than 0. So this is the measure of economic development in sustainable way. So this is one of the definition which is being given, that is called outcome based approach. So here the utility should over the time should not be declining. Next is a means based approach. So in this, what we do is that the factors of production or means of production, like capital, human, social, and natural. So the sum of this total capital stock, the, should be non-declining, or individual capital stock should be non-declining, so as that we are following a sustainable pathway. So this is the economic definition of sustainable development, we can say. So till here, if you have any question, you can interrupt me. Is there any question or anything which you want to add? Then yes, any? Okay. So I will move forward.
Hello, madam.
Yes, sir.
Please correct me. When you made the statement, the total capital should be non-declining.
Yes.
That means so it should be keep on increasing the capital. Well, so how do you interpret physically? Okay, I'm just trying to.
Let's say that what we are trying to say is that the capital in the form of, let's say, physical materials, and then human, and then social and natural. So the total of all this capital stock with respect to, let's say, when we are differentiating this over the time, let's say dkt, that is upon dt, the change with respect to time should be more than 0. So what we are trying to say is that, let's say today we are cutting some trees and building a building. Then this building should maybe, like, building is for some educational purpose. Then we are improving the human kh, right? So by reducing the kn, that is natural capital, we are improving the human capital. So the sum of all this have to be non-declining. So over the time, it does not decrease. However, it will be either constant or it will be more. So that is what we are trying to say. Did I answer you?
Okay, madam.
Yeah. So over the time, let's say that if Kn is reducing, Kh should be increased, or maybe Km should be increasing. So so that our total capital stock, let's say, of a country or of a region, have to be non-declining. So if it is being followed, then we can say that we are following sustainable way. Or in this case, then we are saying that over the time, all this kind of like capital stock, human stock, natural stock, and social stock all have to be more than 0. So in practical, it is not achieved at all. Like we cannot achieve this, that the natural capital will be always more than zero over the time. So uh, this is not practical approach. However, this is like the definition of sustainable development. So after that, this Hardwick gives the rule of weak sustainability, in which that they had said that it should be constant. The sum of all this capital should be constant. So if we are using certain nature resources, then we have to reinvest it into certain kind of human development or social development, or development of stock in the form of physical nature. So every unit of economic rent which is derived from the extraction of natural capital should be reinvested into man-made capital to get the equivalent amount of km when kn goes down. So this is how the overall sum of capital stock should be constant. So this is the first definition. And however, the limitation is that not every time kn and km may be substitute can be substituted, right? So this four capital stocks can might not be able to substitute each other. So that is one of the limitation. Second one is that elasticity of substitution of Cobb-Douglas type of production function is one. So the implication implies that km is a perfect substitute. Km is not a perfect substitution of kn. So if it is follow uh, so km and kn, that is human capital, and these are not following the perfect substitution. So that is another limitation. Third one is that the sum of capital is assumed to be constant. So there is required for the so what we are doing is we are adding all this capitals, right? Physical capital, man-made capital, human capital, and social capital. So these are measured in different kind of units. So if we have to sum them up, then there is requirement of aggregation. So we have to convert all of this capital stock into one kind of measurement units. Like let's say that either maybe we can take the monetary value of all these capitals and then sum them up. So that is one of the thing. So challenges still persist, that even if km and kh can be measured by their monetary value, natural stock cannot be, since there is no direct market for the nature. So that is one of the challenges which persist. So this method is proposed, based on which we can say that the total stock should not be declining over the time. However, the addition and the proper calculation is in practical hard to achieve. So this is the end of weak sustainability. After that, we have strong sustainability. So this rule states that stock of natural capital should be constant. So kn should not be decreasing. The capital, the let's say that we have certain forest, then the forest area should not decrease over the time, or we have certain level of any other kind of environmental resources, then we are saying that it should not be declining. So uh, then indirectly we are saying that there will not be any economic growth, because we are not using this kind of environment, this kind of resources for any kind of economic growth. So this is very stringent rule. So uh, here then a stringent rule which is applicable, where it says that critical kn star should be constant. So let's say for ozone layer, or for climatic condition, or for atmospheric composition of CO2, nitrous oxide, and etc. So this rule is in a way applied. However, we can say that if it is applied, then there will not be any kind of economic growth. So and if it is applied, then no developmental project can be constructed under strong sustainable development, because every type of activity of for the growth of economy has some impact on the nature or on the environment, right? So then the solution will be shadow project, where the same amount of natural capital should be constructed. Let's say that if you are deforesting certain area, then same amount of deforested area should be constructed at other places. So that is one of the solution. Another is safe minimum standard, in which we say that minimum amount of natural capital that should be ensured for regenerating capacity. Let's say that if you are deforesting certain forest area, then the forest area equal to like minimum forest area required, so that the forest will expand, or forest will grow itself, is achieved. So for any kind of renewable resources, or for any kind of natural capital, we have to ensure that we are not over extracting it, so that its regenerating capacity is there. So that is one of the another method, so that we achieve sustainable development. So in we can we can say that we can achieve weak sustainability. However, for any kind of economic growth, strong sustainable development is hard to achieve. So this is all about the economic development and sustainable development. So now, if we compare environmental Kuznets curve and sustainable development, we can say that EKC is more of an improvement in efficiency. So we are saying that after a certain point, we will adopt the technology, and then the emission will go down. So this is efficiency kind of concept, whereas sustainable development is more of a equity concept. So in which we are saying that equitable distribution of right to consume the environmental resources should be there for present generation and future generation. Therefore, the stock of natural resources should be non-declining. So currently, if we have this amount of uh, resources available, then in for the future generation also, they should not be compromised in the need of those resources. So that is what we define sustainable development as. So sustainable development emphasizes more on equitable distribution of resources between the present and future generation. So indirectly, efficiency ensures a role of sustainable development by maximizing the size of economic pie. So that is that let's say that if EKC is true, holds true, then also with improvement in efficiency, current generation can use uh, higher amount of resources, can enjoy the resources in a better way. So uh, so in a way, we can say that efficiency ensures the sustainable development to some extent. So uh, this is all for the part where we discuss about the economic growth, economic development, sustainable development, and then there are various measurement for this GNNP and genuine saving. We you can check the formula. So these are the measures which will ensure that we are including the usage of non-renewable resources, renewable resources into the overall measurement of development of a country. So this is also there. After that, the measurement or economic implications of sustainable development, which is that the stock of a resource should not be decreasing over the time. That as much as we are enjoying the resources, the future generation also have same kind of right to enjoy the resources. So therefore, the sum of stock capital stock should be non-declining, or individual capital stock should be non-declining based on weak and strong sustainability rule. So, any question here? Yes, sir. Anything which
No, no,
will
no, madam. You proceed, proceed.
okay. You can add also if you want to add something in between.
No, so let me summarize what I
Yeah,
understood from
sure,
this. Okay.
sure.
There are two things here. One is reducing emissions by improving efficiency,
Yes,
which is what EK's Kuznets curve tells us.
yeah.
The other one is about sustainability. Sustainability means not just present generation, but equitably to future generations.
Hmm.
So these two are distinct goals. Okay.
Yes.
So for yeah, so both are required. Both are required. Okay,
Hmm.
and the strong sustainability role ensures that the natural resources never get depleted. They are basically the system ensures that there is sufficient amount of natural resources are replenished from whatever means. That is the strong sustainable. Uh, yeah, basically the stock of natural capital
Hmm.
is always constant. If you use it, someone has to replenish it somewhere.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah, yeah.
so that is called strong sustainable development.
Hmm.
Okay,
Hmm.
whereas weak sustainable development means it is we are trading off with natural capital with something else,
Yes.
with human capital or man capital.
Hmm.
Okay, so even if natural capital comes down, but if human capital goes up or money capital goes up, that means that is also considered sustainable, but it's a weak. Okay,
Hmm.
uh, so what I understand from this is the strong sustainability is the one which advocates focus on natural capital to see that it is always constant,
Yes. Yes.
irrespective of whatever happens in the economy.
Hmm.
Okay,
Yes.
uh,
Uh,
yeah,
but
strong.
it will pose various kind of constraints also. Like majority of the time, we can say that we will not achieve strong sustainability if we have to achieve the certain economic growth also, right?
Yes, yes, yeah. Okay. Yeah, yeah, but that is the goal of
Yeah.
strong
Yes.
sustainability is to ensure constancy of natural capital,
Yes.
which may not be practical,
Hmm.
but that is a goal. That is the
Yeah,
goal of it.
it
Okay.
might not be
So,
practical, but the strong sustainability says that yes, it should keep constant.
yeah,
You cut the resource here, however, you have to replenish it somewhere, or you keep certain amount of resources so that the solution to strong sustainable development is that you keep certain amount of natural resources so that it get replenished by itself. So
uh,
yes, you have
yeah,
summarized
Eh,
it
eh, yeah,
very well.
yeah. So focus on renewable that yeah ensures strong sustainability. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So yeah. So yeah. Okay. Proceed, by.
Okay, that is it. Now, after that, we have also learned about the Daly's operational principle. Okay, so in Daly's operational principle, he had given three sustainability rules. Okay, so first one is that the uh, we will achieve sustainable development if we follow these three rules. Okay, so the first rule is that for renewable resources such as forests, such as fishery or agriculture, etc., there should be non-declining resource stock. Okay, let's say that we are extracting the forest resources, then the rate of extraction of resources should always be less than the rate of growth. So as a, this is some kind of like keeping certain, as we have discussed as here, that safe minimum standard should be kept, right, so that we do not we do not um, interrupt the regenerating capacity of nature. So you have to keep certain forest area, let's say that, or if you are fishing, so you have to keep certain level of fish in the pond, so that there will be growth, like there will be growth of fishes, and you will enjoy this renewable resource for long duration of time. So this is first sustainable rule for renewable resources. After that, we have talked about non-renewable resources. Okay, so there in non-renewable resources, yes. Any questions in between? Okay, so in non-renewable resources, what we said is that the revenue have two components. Okay, so first one is income component, where alpha represents a coefficient, income coefficient, and beta one is the component which we have to reinvest in the renewable resources. So beta is investment coefficient, which is dependent on present stock of non-renewable resources, rate of extraction of non-renewable resources, rate of technological advancement, and discount rate. So here the sustainability rule states that the economy can enjoy only the income component, and the investment component should be reinvested into the renewable resources. So this is like, let's say that you are extracting the coal from certain kind of area. So what they are trying to say is that if you are getting let's say that 100 rupees or 100,000 rupees from the total revenue which is generated from the extraction of coal, then you can use let's say that 70 rupees as an income component. However, this 30 rupees you have to invest into certain kind of renewable resources, like let's say that it is not related, but let's say building of a forest area, or in a way we can say that let's say if the revenue generated from the coal is invested into the subsidy which is provided for solar energy. So then this is one of the example of reinvestment into the renewable resources. So this kind of sustainability rule will ensure that, let's say one day we get zero revenue or zero coal from the extraction, then we can enjoy the solar energy as our resources. So this is one of the example where we can say that the no when we get exhaust of non-renewable resources, then we have certain renewable resources which we can enjoy. So therefore the reinvestment should be there in the case of non-renewable resources. Then we have also discussed that more is the present stock of non-renewable resources, we don't like, lesser will be the requirement of reinvestment. More is the rate of extraction, more should be the reinvestment. More is the rate of technological advancement, lesser we can reinvest in the resources, because after certain level we have another alternative technological options, right? So after that, more is the discount rate, then more should be the reinvestment. Okay, so after that we have said that the pollution. So let's say if you are emitting certain kind of pollutants, CO2, sulfur oxide, or if you are polluting the ocean, so the rate of emission should be always less than the absorptivity capacity of the environment. The rate of emission of carbon dioxide should be less than the absorptivity capacity of the air. The rate of pollution in the ocean should be less than the absorptivity capacity of the ocean. That if you put on keep on polluting, then after certain time the resources which we get from the um, uh, ocean will be depleted, or it will impact in other various kind of negative ways, in terms of reduction in the stock of natural resources, in terms of various kind of natural calamities, and uh, etc. So that is it. So now we have indicators for sustainable development. So this was a part of a previous part. So here we have GDP, gross national product. Sorry, I said something else, but it's gross national product, then net national product. So all these are measure all these are indicators of economic growth of a nation. So here the GDP will be total market value of goods and services produced in a country. And then if we add the foreign income, and then we get the gross national product, and then we get net national product, where we subtract the depreciation value. However, in this also we are not taking into consideration the usage of renewable or non-renewable resources. So, uh, NNP do not take the contribution of RE and non-renewable resources and the economics for environmental degradation, right? So, therefore, we are calculating GNNP, where uh, from net national product, we are subtracting the economic rent of non-renewable resources and economic rent of renewable resources. So since you are using certain kind of renewable and non-renewable resources, which maybe you will not enjoy in the future, it should be subtracted from the total product, national product, or total economy of the country. And also, since you are emitting certain, like, this is the since you are emitting certain kind of pollution, the cost you have to incur to abate the emission, since you are emitting carbon dioxide, sulfur oxide into the air for improvement of the economy, later on you have to abate those kind of emission, right? So therefore you are subtracting the cost of abatement from the overall NNP. So from here we are getting GNNP and the genuine saving. So in this, what we are doing is total saving of the country minus delta P, which is depreciation of man-made capital, delta N, depreciation of natural capital, and delta E, that is present value of expenditure on education. So that will be our total saving formula. So here depreciation on natural capital. Here we have depreciation on non-renewable as well as renewable resources, and then we have this cost of abatement. So all these are included in delta N. From here we get the genuine saving. Now after that, what we are saying is that what will be the impact of regulation on the firm's competitiveness. Let's say that if you have a firm, let's say production firm, steel production firm, then if you normally what we believe is that the regulation will slow down the growth, the slow down the competitiveness of the firm, right? So there is two concept that how the regulation will impact on firm's competitiveness. So in this case, we are talking about environmental regulation. So in the old concept first, so there is trade-off between clean environment and firm's competitiveness. So let's say that there is a firm, if it is competitive, or if it is getting the production at low price, then after then it will always have trade-off with the clean environment. So if they focus on cleaner environmental production, then their cost will go up, then they will not be competitive enough. So there will be always a trade-off. More is the competitiveness, lesser will be the clean focus on environment. Or if you focus more on the environment, then the firm will go out of business. So this is the old concept. So we are saying that there is trade-off between the firm's financial performance and their environmental performance. So if financial performance is high, then environmental performance will go down. So there will be always sacrifice on the environment or competitiveness of the market. So, however, Porter hypothesized that um, proper implementation of well-designed environmental regulation may enhance the firm's financial performance. So what he is trying to say is that if you design certain kind of regulation properly, then maybe uh, then it is said that the firm will get benefit out of the regulation. So a regulation may result in higher output with lower degree of pollution, which will be win-win opportunity. So this is what
Uh,
Porter hypothesized. Yes, sir.
yeah, yeah, madam, here old conception we understand because pollution and competitiveness is a trade-off. The new conception, there is no trade-off. It is quite opposite. It's challenging the old conception. Okay,
Yeah, it is.
so there's no trade-off.
Hmm.
If proper regulation is there, you can still improve the environment and still have a financial performance. Both we can have. That's what
Yes,
it's saying, right?
yes,
New
that is what
conception.
it is saying. That proper, it is a hypothesis. It's not a proof or something. But he said that if look, if you do certain kind of regulation in a proper design, then the firm will improve. So what argument that he gives like is that regulation will first help to identify the inefficiency in any kind of firm. So normally, let's say that there is a coal production or there is a production of steel, then they have certain kind of efficiency, right? But now since they have to focus on certain kind of standards, which is being implemented by the government, that they have to follow. So what they will do is they will look for every possible way to improve their efficiency. So that is one of the argument. After that, in static mindset, so what we in the old concept, when we are saying that there is trade-off, what we are saying is that the firm is maximizing its profit, right? The firm is maximizing its profit in the best way, and there is no any other way to improve its profit. So that is a static mindset. However, there might be a cases, there might be an information which the firm is not known, because of which they are not optimal. There might be like another case where they can improve the production and in a better way. So because of static mindset, we are taken aback. However, many a times the profit maximization might not be optimal. So when the maximum profit maximization is not achieved, then because of regulation, it may achieve. So that is the second argument. Third is that many a times the individual or organization will suffer from inertia, that they don't want to change. So currently, if there is certain kind of process, certain kind of production way, certain kind of methods through which they perform, then they will not prefer to change. However, when the regulation is imposed, they will be forced to change, and they will try to find the better way in which um, they can follow the regulations which is being mandated to them. So that is why like let's say that first they are emitting certain kind of 100 tons of CO2. Then if the government says that by maximum you can emit 90 only, so initially when there is no regulation, they don't care at all. However, since they have to follow the standard, they will do without much impacting on their financial status or financial performance. So that is what Porter is uh, stating. So next one is that regulation removes uncertainty. Let's say that there is a firm who wants to adopt certain kind of technology which might be efficient or which might reduce the emission or which might abate the emission. Abatement means that they will capture CO2, or they will uh, clean the water or whatever, so in abatement way. So if they have to do that, then because of regulation they have to anyway do, and there is certainty in the regulatory system that in this 5 year, if I do that, I will be more profitable. So anyway I have to do, and I have five-year plan. And for me, adopting this technology is better because I have to give the penalty otherwise. So I see certain kind of vision. So that this will remove the uncertainty for any kind of firm. So investment in better technology while avoiding the uncertainty. So firm will move towards the optimality for better process, better technology, and better products. So that is the fourth point. Next is regulation gathers information which will aware the firms that they are one of the pollutant, one of the major pollutants, or they will have some kind of social pressure on them that they are producing certain kinds. So when the data is published by government, or when they have the information, this will create the awareness to the firm, so they will try to reduce the emissions. So after that, the sixth one is that regulation creates a level playing field. So everyone have to do now. uh, Without regulation, one people will not prefer to uh, focus on better technology, because anyway the other firm which do not invest on the cleaner technology are enjoying the more profit. However, with regulation, everyone is same that you have to follow this, or you have to pay the tax, or you have to pay the penalty, whatever it is. So any kind of regulation will create a level playing field for all the firms equally. So this will allow the pollution abatement for all the firms. And last one is that though regulation might not create overall profit, it is needed. Why? Because without regulation, anyway the firm will not abate the pollution, right? So therefore regulation is required in the case of incomplete offset also. In, let's say that I am not fully getting the 100% profit by adopting this technology, uh, then I will not choose, if there I'll not choose to adopt the cleaner technology, though I have an option, because I am getting the loss. However, when the regulation is imposed, the firm have to do. So that is why also the firm will do. So these are all arguments which Porter gave to support his hypothesis that with proper implementation of certain kind of regulation, the financial performance will also improve, and environmental quality will also improve. So it will be a win-win opportunity for both the things. So this will so these are the arguments. So the limitations is that and what Porter had done is that he had collected the data of about 100 firms, and then he showed that let's say without regulation their performance is like that, and with regulation they are better performed. So it is an empirical study, there is no proof. So the economists challenge that hypotheses do not have any kind of theoretical framework. So that is the biggest limitation, that he's not able to prove it, but it was a kind of a argument which he have done, and he gave the hypothesis. So any kind of questions on Porter hypothesis?
No, madam. No, madam. Clear.
Yes. So these are the uh, arguments and limitations. So if we see diagram in a diagram, then what we are trying to say is that, let's say that there is a environmental policy. Okay, so the environmental policy will have positive impact on will have positive impact on environment first. Anyway, it is for the environmental performance. However, let's say that we impose environmental policy and it have negative impact on the business performance. However, because of R&D, resource and development, it will have positive impact on the business performance. Therefore, in net, the business performance and environmental performance both are improving. So that is what the Porter is trying to say, that because of the improvement in the efficiency, because of improvement in any kind of technology or process, the business performance will improve, though they have to follow the policy, though they have to follow the regulation, it will improve while improving the environmental performance. So it will be a win-win situation for both the cases, for the environment as well as for the business. So that is the thing. Now we will move towards the pollution abatement curve. Okay, so this is McKenzie curve. So pollution abatement curve is that in the x-axis we have let's say that what will be the abatement. So how much CO2 equivalent per year or CO2 equivalent will be abated, and what will be the cost of abatement. So the x-axis will be cost of abatement and y-axis will be the amount of emission. So CO2, let's say CO2 which will be abated. Okay, so what we are saying is that, let's say for any firm, then if they have to abate initially, let's say that 1 kg of CO2, 2 kg of CO2, 3 kg of CO2. So for each marginal increment in the CO2 reduction, so CO2 reduction, the cost of emission is increasing. So this is overall abatement cost curve. So why? Because initially we will be having more scope of improvement in terms of process, in term more scope of improvement. However, when the firm is already effective, already following the better process, then the emission reduction is higher. So with increase in the abatement, with marginal increase in the abatement, the cost of abatement increases. So here in McKenzie curve, what they have said is that how we can abate the emission of let's say of a country. So initially maybe we can adopt we can focus on better efficient technology, and then maybe we can focus on the RE, and then maybe we can focus on carbon capture technology, and then we can focus on 100% let's say that electrification, 100% electrification, or etc. So for this is for a country and this is for a firm. One is for country and two is for a firm. So in any way, the marginal reduction of CO2 will increase with the CO2 quantity, right? So this is how we can say that okay, so this is all. Any questions, then you can ask. So this is just a curve that states that with with marginal increment, or we can say that the marginal increment in the cost of emission reduction will increase with the uh, CO2 quantity which is being reduced. So first kg of CO2 reduction will be easier. However, when we go towards the 100 kg, let's say that there is a two plant A and plant B. Plant A emits 90 kg of CO2 and plant B emits 100 kg of CO2. And if we have to choose one of the plant to reduce the emission, then we will say that plant B should do. Why? Because plant B have more scope of improvement rather than plant A. Or let's say increase, instead of 90, I'm saying let's say 20 only. Okay. So then plant B should focus on the reduction rather than plant A. So this is seen from abatement curve. So in this, if you have any question, then you can ask. Okay. Any kind of conclusions also which you want to give or anything, then you can
Mhm.
ask.
No, nothing, madam. So, as I understand that the more you abate, the more cost it will be, marginal
Yes.
cost. So,
Yes.
initially it will be easy from 0 to 100 kgs. We can reduce from 100 to 120. It will be much more costlier. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
then it's not proportional. It's not
Yes.
in. Okay, so
Yes. So this is the pollution abatement curve, and from pollution abatement curve, what we have derived is, Pujarini, do you have any question? Then you can ask. Are you able to?
No, ma'am.
Are you able to cope up with me? Are you with me in like till now? If there is anything which I want to repeat or anything, okay, then I'll move on. Okay, so from here, what we then derive is that we will derive the taxation system. Okay, so I'll go towards the taxation system first, and then I'll come back. So in emission tax, what we say is that uh, uh, let's say we have a firm whose abatement curves looks like this. Okay, so this is the abatement curve where CO2 reduction, so I'm saying equivalent of CO2, and then the dollar rupees. Okay, so for initial reduction from here to here to here to here, and then the again increment. Okay, so now the regulator impose the tax. The tax will be dollar for each CO2 emission. Okay, so now initially, if I'm emitting only one, I will rather reduce than to pay the tax. So if I emit 1 kg of CO2, I can do it at this cost, right? If I abate. However, I have to pay this much tax. Let's say I'm saying 10 rupees. Okay, so $10. So rather than giving $10, I will try to abate it. Okay. After that, for second kg of CO2 also, I will rather abate than to give the tax till the point where these two are meeting. Okay. After this, my cost of abatement is higher than the tax which I have to pay. So what we say is that a firm will abate till the point K. Okay, the K will be the kg of CO2 which will be abated. Beyond K, the firm will choose to pay tax rather than abatement of emission. So, any question here?
okay, okay, no, nothing, madam. Go ahead.
Okay. Now, from here, what we can see right now is now that this Palmer et al. They had disproved the Porter hypothesis. Okay, so Palmer et al. What they take is they take two cases. Like let's say that tax will be first P1 and tax will be P2. So this is my tax system. Okay, and MSc and MSc star. So marginal abatement cost curve for the first technology and marginal abatement cost curve for the improved technology. Okay, so you adopt certain kind of technology and you improve the system that your marginal abatement cost curve goes down from MSc to the MSc star. Okay, so now in each of the point, what we have discussed is that the tax amount which will be P1, right? So the point where P1 will meet MSc, this will be X star. So if the firm have to abate, then it will abate till X star, and let's say now the firm will go to H when the tax is reduced, increase, because P2, right? So the firm will abate till H, so that this will be X x2 star. This is the level of abatement, okay, in the initial case. Now, the level of abatement in the MAC star case, so we get higher abatement. Let's say I'm writing O and I'm writing O dash. So these are the point where the tax and abatement curve are intersecting, okay. So what Palmer et al. Proved is that from all this point, let's say that from B and H, from B and H, the point B will be more preferable for the firm. Okay, from C and D, C will be more preferable for the firm. Okay, and from B and C, B is more preferable. So after proving that all for the base case without any technology, B is the point, and for the case with stringent regulation, H case, for the case where both the regulation is also D is the point where the tax system is also higher and the company focus on the improved technology also. So D is the point and C is the point where the technology is better, however tax is lesser. So in all these 4 points, we have proved that B is the best point. So B is the best point which the firm will prefer. So the Porter said that the it will be a win-win case for both the firm as well as for the environment. So they had disproved and they said that it is not profitable with the stringent regulation, even with the stringent regulation, if innovation is not profitable. So this is what Palmer et al. Proved from analysis which they have done for a case with the improved technology and increase regulation. So stringent regulation is also there and improved technology is also there. However, from all this point B and H, B is better, and C and D, C is better, and from H and D, H is better. So from here, what we can say is that B is much better than D. So any question here? Am I too fast or are you able to cope up here? Are you with me? Uh,
Yeah, somewhat okay. Okay, I think yeah.
yes, sir.
So uh, maybe you can explain it in English, no? So not able to correlate with the graph. So what you're trying to say is uh, okay. Regulation is not enough. Okay, on technology. Uh, Simply, okay. Basically, the farmer is challenging, saying that uh, too stringent regulation won't improve competitiveness.
Yes, what he is saying is that stringent regulation is like if the innovation is not at all profitable, like let's say that if adoption of cleaner technology or adoption of certain other process is not profitable on its own, then even after the stringent regulation, eh, then also it will not be profitable. So that is what he is trying to say, that it is not because of the regulation, it is because of the economy. So if it is profitable, it is profitable, otherwise it will not be, like because of regulation we can say that it is a win-win opportunity. So he disapproved this win-win opportunity statement, which or
So that means, irrespective of regulation, if the firm feels that if I adopt a new technology, I become more
hmm,
profitable,
hmm,
he would anyway adopt technology and become more profitable, focusing on his profitability rather than the environment.
yeah, that's
Uh,
what they proved.
so yeah, so basically, technology is the key. If technology does not, technology should do. have two roles: not only improve profitability of the firm, but also should reduce environmental pollution. Both.
Yes, yes. So
Yeah.
now from here we can indirectly say that the cost of technology is very important, right? So the firm will adopt this technology only when they see it profitable, right? So let's say we can take an example of solar energy. So initially the cost of solar for per kilowatt capacity is very high. So no one is adopting it. However, now the government try to give incentive system, give subsidy that they see some profit. So after looking into the profit, after looking into the benefits, then the firm will try to adopt those technology. Now we are at certain time that even without the subsidy, without the incentive, solar is as competitive as thermal energy. So after certain point the economy will mm, economy will take care of itself, because the scale of production increases for solar. So indirectly what the porter or the palmer is trying to say is that there is requirement of certain kind of market based instrument which will try to promote the cleaner technology. So
Okay. Okay.
then we move
Okay.
towards the tax and emission
Okay,
policy.
okay. Basically, what the farmer is arguing is that it is not the regulation; it is the technology which enables a firm to reduce pollution because it is makes the firm competitive.
Yeah,
So, regulation has no role. Basically, that's what it says.
yeah,
Farmer says,
that's what
yeah.
Palmer said. And like indirectly from Porter hypothesis, we came across the importance of market-based instruments. So market-based instrument is important because without them, uh, the firm will not follow the cleaner transition, or they will not try to adopt the technology, right? So now with market based instrument we will try to promote the cleaner technology, we will try to adopt the cleaner technology. So then we go towards the incentive design, we go towards the subsidy, we go towards the taxation system. So
Okay, okay, madam.
yes, now we have we will move towards the market failure. Okay, so market's objective is efficient allocation of resources, and a market fail. So what is market failure? So it's the economic situation with an inefficient distribution of goods and services in the free market. So in a market failure, individual incentive for rational behavior do not lead to rational outcome of the group. So what this is trying to say is that, let's say, in a competitive market or in a perfect market, all the individuals are profit maximizer, right? They will try to maximize their own profit, and this will in turn leads to the maximization of consumer surplus plus producer surplus. So the social welfare, which is the sum of consumer and social surplus, is improving with the individual's rational behavior, that is to improve their own profit. However, market failure takes place when this do not follow, that is, individuals' incentive for rational behavior do not lead to the rational outcome of the group. So in such cases, then then we call market failure. The example of market failure is majorly seen the um, in the case of, let's say, monopoly system, monopoly market, in the environmental cases, because in the environmental case we can say that environmental assets or environmental resources, we can there is no market, we cannot give prices to this market, and many a times there is over exploitation of resources because of no direct market of this resource, right? So market can fail if prices do not communicate society's desire and constraints accurately. And government interventions through regulation is required when market cannot solve the problem. So that's why we need environmental regulations, because environmental assets do not have direct market, and many a times the firm are not taking their own uh, emissions which they are doing in the air, they are doing in the water, they are not paying for that, right? So in these cases the market failure happens. Why? Because they are increasing their profit, however the society is impacting negatively. So this kind of externality will lead to the market failure. So the reason behind market failure is externality. What is the case? So what is externality? Externality can be positive or negative. However, market failure happens when there is negative externality. So let's say that there is a company A who is let's say leather producer, okay, and there is a fisherman here. So the fisherman is trying to catch the fishes, okay, he always come to catch the fishes. So now this company emits the chemicals into the water, okay. So this water will get polluted, and then gradually the fishes start dying. So this kind of act where they are producing and the company A is producing and it is making the profit. However, it is not paying for the negative impact it is doing to the fishermen because of the pollution. So the cost of pollution is not paid by this company A, right? So this is the kind of a negative externality. So not only here, many a time, let's say that if a company is cutting trees and uh, building their malls or anything there, then the society is getting negative impacts, right? They are paying for the land price, they are paying for the maybe tree price, but they are not paying for the neighborhood of people, they are not paying to the society, because they are cutting the resources, they are impacting the biodiversity. So this kind of negative impact which is not being paid by the person who is enjoying the benefit. So this kind of situation is known as externality, so which will in turn lead to the market failure. Second one is improper price signal. So let's say that market goods and services do not have direct market. So, example, air pollution, and then clean water. So um, uh, then in these cases, what happens is that um, uh, people will think that it is for free. The pollution into the air is free. The pollution into the ocean is free. It is not free, since there is no like proper pricing system. We are using it, and we are not able to price each of the person who is emitting resources, right? So now this will lead to the market failure. After that, now there is requirement of the government to do certain kind of regulation, that those person who are emitting into the air have to incur the cost of pollution. So that is why the regulation comes into picture. And the third one is imperfect market. So imperfect market is happened happens when there is monopoly market, where market power is in the hand of certain kind of people or consumers, or maybe certain kinds of producer. So in these cases, then in all these cases, it will lead to the market, it may lead to the market failure, where the rational behavior of individual do not lead to the rational outcome for the group. So that is the thing. So now you can ask any question in these two slides.
Yeah. So since there is no market for environmental goods,
Mm-hmm.
these externalities surface. So the recommended approach here is government regulation.
Yes.
That is one thing.
Mm-hmm.
And our property rights,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
giving property either to the polluter or to the pollutee,
Mm-hmm.
so that they can negotiate and arrive at a mutually acceptable pollution level.
Yes, yes, that is right.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So that
Okay.
is right. So now we will that go towards the cause theorem. So cause theorem propose that property right should be there either to the polluter or pollutee. In these cases, then it is it is better to avoid the market failure, right? So we are taking the case of pollution, and we have pollutee and polluter. So who are the polluter? Let's say that the now we are taking the same example. Okay, the leather producer and the fisherman. So the leather producer is polluter, and the fisherman who is impacting negatively is pollutee. Okay. So now either we give the property right of this river to the leather producer or to the fisherman. Okay. Now if we give the property right to the fisherman, then what the fisherman will say? He will say, do not produce at all. It is my water and I'm not getting any benefit because of your production. So in this case, the pollution will be zero. So he will say, no, do not produce at all. If the pollutee gets the property right. Okay. So if the polluter gets the property right, then what he will do? He will not think about the fisherman at all, because this is the polluter's water. So he will produce till the point B, where the marginal production, marginal benefit of getting polluting is zero. So here at point B, the marginal benefit for the polluter of polluting is zero. After that, they will stop polluting, right? So till point B, they will pollute. So these are two cases without negotiation. Okay. Now what we will do is that uh, uh, property right is either to the polluter or pollutee, they will come together. Let's say in this case, now we are doing the property right in the hand of polluter. Okay, so now the bribe will be paid to the polluter by pollutee. Now the fisherman will go to the company and say, please do not pollute, because I have to clean the water, and if I don't do, then my fish production is reducing. So what he will say is that I will give certain rupees, I will give you some bribe, so you don't have to do. So what the bribe amount he will give? He will say that in this OC is the cost curve. Okay, marginal cost curve, and AB is the marginal benefit curve. Okay, so I will give you the price of DQ. DQ, sorry, I will give you this much amount. Okay, this is the bribe amount. So let's say DM is the bribe amount, D to M. I will give you this much bribe if you stop producing from point M. So after point M, do not produce at all. I will give you this much bribe. Okay. So after point M, there will be no production from the leather company. Okay. Why? Because anyway they are getting money from the pollutee, right? They are getting money from the fishermen. Okay. However, if there will not be a not be a bribe system, then his whole cost will be this much. Okay. Because of negotiation, point DCQ. This is the overall saving because of negotiation. Okay. So since I negotiated with the polluter, I saved the cost of abatement, that is DCQ. However, I will give the bribe DMBQ to the polluter. So is it clear? Shall I repeat or?
Okay. Okay. Here, the suppose property rights are given to the pollutee, That means polluting pay bribe.
Yeah, the property right is with the polluter. So the polluter have
No.
property rights. So therefore, polluter is paying bribe to the polluter.
Okay, okay.
After and
So,
yes, sir.
okay. Just the way to remember, I'm just confusing. Okay, so whoever has a right,
Mm-hmm.
okay,
Mm-hmm.
whoever doesn't have right, pay bribe to the person who has right.
Yeah,
Correct?
yeah, yeah. Let's say that if it is your forest and if you are cutting the forest and my home is there, then I will give you money, right? That please do not cut. I have home
Oh,
here. So that is what we goes. You get money if the resource is your.
okay. But what happens situation when both have rights?
So
Is there any such situation?
yeah, in this case, then only there is a problem, right? So then either there should be a negotiation point that I will also use, you will also use, but we will use till this point, or so there will be some, let's say that like mediator is needed in these cases. So
Okay, okay,
in this case, in the course, I think the court or the government will decide how much you can use, how much I can use.
okay, okay, madam.
Yeah. So now this triangle DCQ is the saving for the pollutee. Okay. Now after negotiation, if we see that what will be the benefit for the polluter, so am I getting extra money because of negotiation? So the answer is yes, I'm getting extra money, which is this triangle, which I'm giving green color. Okay. This green color DBQ is the extra money which the polluter is getting, because they produce this triangle DMQ, sorry, DMB will be achieved. However, the whole bribe money is DMBQ. So this green triangle is the extra money which the polluter is getting because they are getting bribe. So any question here?
No, no, no question.
Okay. So now for the polluter, we see that negotiation case is better than no negotiation case. Okay. Now, so negotiation case is better than no negotiation case. Now, if we go towards the second case, when the property right is given to the pollutee. Okay. Now, pollutee is having the property right. Now, in this case also, what we can do is uh, now, in this case, the polluter will give money to the pollutee. Okay. So, the polluter will give money till this point. So, this will be the whole money which the polluter will give. And, sorry, this will not be the. Uh, so, in this case, what we will do is he will, this DRM will be the same negotiation money, and the price which will be paying is this one, that uh, that the polluter will pay to the pollutee. Okay, the compensation money. And uh, this triangle this triangle will be used for the emission reduction, right? So this will be the cost of abatement which the polluter will incur. However, the polluter will have positive benefit because of the negotiation. So i- then we can say that then we can say that so this whole triangle, we say that it is the benefit to the sorry, I'm getting a little bit, I have to check this first. Okay, so So in the case when the polluter is having the in the case when pollutee is having the property right, they will give the money to the polluter. So they will give money till their benefit is more than the cost that they have to incur. So after so they will give money till point M. So this will be the whole money which will be paid by the polluter to the pollutee, and this will be the money. This will be the money which the pollutee will use for the abatement, and this triangle, yeah, this yellow triangle is the benefit, positive benefit which the pollutee will have after negotiation. So if there is no negotiation, then zero emission will be there. However, the emission is still OM, and the money which the pollutee get is ADMO. However, they have to use DMO amount for the abatement. So the positive benefit which the pollutee is having is AOD. So any question here?
No, no, madam.
Okay. Oh, okay. Sorry. It's my bad. Uh, the this will be the money which the polluter will pay. Okay, I'm so sorry. This will be the money which the polluter will pay, that is DM. So this whole area I am giving it O dash. O dash DMO. This will be the whole money which will be paid by polluter to the pollutee. However, this blue shade area, that is DMO, will be used for the abatement. So the positive benefit will be DO dash O, which will be positive benefit for the pollutee. Okay, and the benefit for the polluter, the benefit for the polluter is this much. Since they are producing, totally they are producing this whole area, okay. However, they have to pay this much rupees to the pollutee, this rectangle. This area which is shaded in blue is the positive benefit for polluter. So please look into this lecture detailed slide I have uploaded also. So if you are confused, then you can check it there. But and in summary, we can say that in both the case, when the pollutee have property right or polluter have property right, both are getting benefit because of negotiation. So in sum, we can say that it doesn't matter whether polluter have property right or pollutee have property right. It is better than no negotiation case, right? So court said that there should be proper allocation of property right to reduce the environmental degradation. So yes, sir, do you want to add something? You want to ask something? Then you can ask.
No, no, madam. Also,
Am I
I got the
clear?
message. But, no, no, I got the message, overall message, but
Hmm.
interpretation of that one maybe little going above my mind. Maybe I'll read it later. But basically, what the key message is, either polluter or pollutee must have the rights, and they, when only when they negotiate,
Mhm.
then both will be benefited.
Yeah,
Okay. So how we are interpreting from the graph, maybe I will look into later. So
sure.
basically, so one thing you tell me in the graph, this MB is marginal benefit to the pollutee, right? Marginal
No, to the
benefit,
polluter. So the polluter will be
marginal
benefited, and pollutee have to incur certain cost. So
cost. Okay,
yeah, polluter
okay,
will incur the cost of abatement, and pollutee will incur the cost of abatement, and polluter will pollute. So
okay,
when the property right is with the pollutee, then they have to pay for polluting the environment,
okay,
right? So
okay,
yeah, this is the case.
okay, okay.
Okay, so if we summarize in one line, what cost theorem states is that it does not matter whether the property right is with the polluter or polluter, there should be property right which is assigned to all the assets. Then there will be negotiation between the polluter and pollutee, and we will get to the optimal level of pollution. So this OM is the optimal level of pollution which is being achieved. So it does not matter who have the property right. The optimal level of pollution abatement is achieved when the property right is defined. So that is the conclusion. Now, in both the case 1 and case 2, compared to the pre-negotiation situation, post-negotiation results in the net benefit, right? It does not matter whether the polluter or pollutee have property right. Both have positive gain in the cases. Okay. Next is costless negotiation results in the same level of pollution, that is OM, which is efficient irrespective of initial allocation of property right. So property right uh, is either with the polluter or pollutee. Optimal level of pollution is OM, which is being achieved because of negotiation. Now, Mm, now we are seeing in case 1 and case 2, which one is more preferable, right? So if I am polluter, I will say that the polluter should have property right. The pollutee will say I want property right. However, in general, how we can see is that the pollutee, which is being impacted because of the pollution, should have property right rather than polluter. Why? Because in this case, there is benefit of DO dash O, right? This is positive benefit. But in the previous case, when the pollutee is paying to the polluter to reduce the emission, there is cost saving. So they do not have to abate the pollution. So there is cost saving because the polluter is not polluting. However, there is no positive benefit when the property right is with the polluter. But in the case when the property right is with the pollutee, then there is positive gain. So case 2 is more preferable because anyway the pollutee is getting impacted negatively, and uh, in such cases we can say that the pollutee will be some kind of like a society or a community, etc., and polluter will be some kind of firms or any kind of production business or etc. So this is it. Any question here, then you can ask, otherwise.
So, no, no, nothing, madam.
Sure.
Actually, I can recollect scenario at IIT Kanpur. Lot of Kanpur leather industries, no, they pollute. The bank of Ganges. Am I correct?
Yeah, that is
Uh,
very true,
but
sir. Yeah.
that was 30 years ago. Now I don't know whether they're still polluting or not.
Yeah, currently the leather production reduces. Even now there is a lot of business going on. So I don't have proper data, but to some extent, when there is no regulation, then people will exploit in any way possible. Like be it tourist places, be it an industry, be it the hospitality, everywhere, unless there is proper standard system and then they follow. So there is a code that they do not pay bribe to the authorities, that they can bypass the regulation. So that is another big problem in places here also,
Yeah.
that many a times the industry will give money to the authorities and then they don't have to follow the standards, right? So that is another big problem which we are facing, which
So
the nation
yeah,
faces.
the pollution control board is highly corrupt everywhere. Everywhere it is corrupt. Okay.
Yeah,
So
so many a times when the in the course also we have covered that when the cost of abatement is very high, then they like more is the regulation stringent, more will they be prone to give look for the bypass solution like giving bribe or etc., and then they will enjoy the profit, paying bypass
and
an amount.
and only the citizens or fishermen unite and voice their right. I think then that is a real way of exercising rights. Most of the time, the consumers, the ordinary people who live there, they don't have voice. In fact, even if they have rights, they don't have voice. So that is taken for a ride by the polluting companies.
Hmm.
Okay,
Yeah,
bypassing
so
regulation.
yeah, that is true. Ideally, we are expecting that people should speak up, but ideally, the government is the representation of people, right? So the government have to do for the benefit of overall society. Like the government have to take care of the economy as well as take care of the poorest of the poor. But in many cases, that is what happened. That since they are getting benefit from a certain kind of industry, they will overlook the negative impact that they are doing on the other person. Like there is a big cases which is going on in the tribal areas in Chhattisgarh or many places where the tribal people forcefully speak up against the environmental degradation, against various kind of minings which they do, deforestation they do. The government though knows that they are impacted, the environment is impacted, the biodiversity is also impacted. However, since there is certain kind of positive gain to their political perspective, also many a times, not only in India, anywhere across the world, many a times there is like overlook into the environmental impact because of other reasons also. So.
So I think it is more in Amazon because Amazon forest, South America,
Hmm.
a lot of indigenous people live there. They live in a sustainable fashion, but these industries and city farmers come and they cut forests and mining they take, and without paying any compensation or to the local communities.
Yeah,
So that that Amazon rainforest is decreasing every year. So it's a very serious uh, yeah, problem there.
mm.
Actually, in fact, the maximum rainforests in the world are in Amazon area.
Mm. And in like later on, many a times what we see is that what is the trajectory of current growth of economy. Like let's say that a country, like let's say a political party will look into their own 5 year plans, right? That what they are achieving. However, many a times there is a need to look into the next 20-year plan, next 40-year plan. After 40 year, what will happen? After 20 year, what will happen? So now it's very high time to look into this impact also, because anyway we are facing a lot of disasters because of environmental degradation, right? So now if do not if we do not take care of sensitive areas, Himalayan region or any kind of wetland or any
I
places.
think, I think all these the international agreements like Kyoto deal or Doha, this the biggest problem is the developed countries are actually reluctant to for these emission standards, emission the goals.
Mhm.
They say that it is very uneconomical, unprofitable for their businesses. So they refuse to cooperate. In fact, as in
Hmm.
people, countries like us in India and South Asian, they cooperate, they agree for the reducing the levels of CO2, but the big countries are refusing
Mhm.
because they become uncompetitive. Okay,
Yeah, that
I
is
think
one of the.
that is
As we have discussed in tragedy of commons also, right? Ki,
right.
if let's say all the country come together and they said that we will reduce the emissions and all, but if one country said that I will back up, so the benefit will be for everyone, but the cost will be incurred by others only. So that is why there is always a game theoretic kind of approach. Like if they do, then only I'll do. If he do not do, why do I do? Like all this kind of
And
things happen at.
yeah, it takes a political tone. No, like if Trump comes to power, so he won't agree with any of these emission protocols. So he'll say, "Go to hell." Okay.
Yeah,
So,
it
but
depends on the political party also. Like what is their approach of economy, what is their approach of growth and etc. So that is one of the reason. And many a times it also depends on the international uh, diplomacy stand also, like let's say that since India have positive stand with USA or any kind of other country, then they will not indirect, like not directly refuse to follow the standards. So the main concern about this developing country is that my economy is being hampered. You have enjoyed the resources, you have polluted, and now you are developed. Now you are saying that we also have to reduce our emission equal to you, though my economy is not that saturated. So that is one of the biggest problem which we are facing, though there is negative impact which I am facing also, but I want my economic growth also, right? Because it's we are now at the peak of development. So
Yes, yes.
then
I think that
there
that
is
is
a
why
requirement of,
we still, yeah, that's why we still insist that we cannot shut down our coal plants because our growth is required.
yeah.
Um, so give us concessions. Uh,
India
something.
is, yes, India is doing very good in terms of addition of renewable capacity. But now another problem appear is that now we have to look into the storage also. We have to balance the power system, right? So that is another problem which we face. So there is another.
Oh, yeah. But what I feel is since we are not that growth, no, taking into account our population,
Mhm.
that we are still on the Kuznets curve on the left hand side only, very left hand side.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay, so we have a long way to go. Actually, we can't help but pollute. There is no way because our
But
growth.
the problem is
Uh,
that, sir, now, like, even if we note, then in the last few years, we can see that the climate have given its answer that I cannot do now. Like, we have achieved the highest temperature in the last 10 to 20 years recently in this summer, right? And we are facing a lot of human-made disasters also. So now, if India or any kind of country do not do at like the minimum that they can do, then the environment will have irreversible impact. Then also it's very bad for everyone. And like there is both the thing that if we do not do economic growth, then also we are impacting. If we do not do the mitigation of climate change, then also we'll have the problem.
okay, okay, yeah. So that is, I think, that is a dilemma. So, uh, yeah, growth versus no, environment.
Yeah,
Uh,
but
I think where is China, madam? In the Kuznets curve, China is on the peak or on the left hand side and the right hand side.
uh,
China is actually a heavy polluting country
yeah,
because it has
China is
peaked its.
polluting. I had a report which says that China is one of the major, recently the emission
Yeah.
report came. So in that also, China is one of the major contributor of emissions. So per capita emission, I don't know, but in terms of emission, so we can say that China is one of the biggest emitter of CO2 and all. And inversely, India, India's population is very high, right? So per capita emission of India is very less, like very less.
Huh.
So
Naturally, very less because our growth also is very less. We don't have any manufacturing plants, right? When you have manufacturing, there will be a lot of pollution, lot of electricity, lot of chimneys.
hmm,
Certainly, that.
yeah.
So our economy, if you look at it, mostly it is a service economy.
Hmm.
So agricultural economy, agriculture doesn't contribute much pollution. Service economy doesn't contribute. There's no manufacturing. That's why our per capita pollution is far less than China.
Hmm.
Far less than China.
Hmm. Yeah,
China.
that is
But
true.
now we are promoting Make in India, manufacturing come, and I think we are following the Chinese path. Certainly, our pollution levels per capita will go up. There is
Yes.
no
But
way. I think.
positively, we have a certain standard system also. Currently, we had a pad system, which I have talked previously also. In this, what in the regulation is that there are set of industries like steel industries, and then let's say furnishing industry, wooden industry, etc. So the government have met certain groups of industries, and then they have given the certain value beyond which they cannot emit. Okay, so the emission limit is given. So what they have to do is they have to uh, perform, achieve, and then trade. So if they achieve the target that they are given, then it is fine. Otherwise, they have to buy certificates from other plants. So there is e-certificate, e-cert system. So PAT and e-cert is there by Bureau of Energy Efficiency. So they have implemented this on various industries in India, like steel industries and iron industries and various kind of energy intensive industries, where they are given certain kind of targets and they have to achieve it. If they fail to achieve it, then they have to either buy the certificate from other plants, or they have to pay the penalty. So that is one thing. Another thing which is coming is the carbon tax system. So in carbon tax system, what they do is, in the European market also there is a tax system, right? So that either it can be cap and trade systems, that there is a cap. If you emit above the cap, then you have to give the give the tax. So if you do not give the tax, then you have to buy from other plant which is emitting lesser. So it's kind of cap and trade system, carbon tax system. So all these are also implementing in the Indian case also, that there will be carbon market which will be established by maybe the draft and the regulation of carbon market is already published. However, in the few years, it will be mandated for all certain sets of industries.
So but I have been hearing about it. This is this market emission. What is it called? Trading market carbon
Carbon trading,
credits. Yeah,
huh?
that's
Carbon
point.
trading.
Carbon. But it's been going on for last 10, 15 years. But I don't know whether it's really effective. Are there are any foreign companies buying our carbon credits? For example, if I put some solar plant or windmills in India, and can I get somebody for funds? That means, see, basically what I understand is, for example, let us say if US farm is currently polluting more than its limit.
Mhm.
So to compensate for that, they have to buy carbon credits from India. Let us say India, we have a solar farm here. So they invest in India solar farm to compensate for pollution in America.
Hmm.
Okay, so that is a kind of deal, right?
Yeah,
So that means
this is
basically,
a credit system which we are talking, but in the
yeah,
carbon
correct,
market,
carbon.
what it happens is that everyone comes, like all the industry will come. Maybe let's say if I plant a certain area, if I forest, then I'll get a certain kind of certificate for reducing the emission, right? So
Right.
all the industry will be there. Like ideally, in a carbon market, the polluter will be there to buy the carbon reduction, or to buy the certificate that they have uh, paid for the CO2 abatement. And there is the let's say if I abate the CO2, then I'll get the credit. So I'll sell this credit into the market. So it will be a
Yes.
whole ecosystem where buyer will come, seller will come, the seller will sell the credit, the buyer will buy the credit, and whole all the industry will come together. So that this kind of market where uniform kind of credit is there. So this is first time in India. However, if you see the European carbon market, then it is to some extent successful. The carbon market is successful in Europe.
Yeah, but across global, within country, within India, within Europe, maybe
Yeah,
because
yeah,
it's a homogeneous
yeah.
implement.
Across globe,
But globally, it's a big challenge to
yeah,
make
it's
it
a bit
tradable.
challenging. And currently, like I have also attended one of the workshop that they have organized. So in that, what they are saying is that they are trying to make it to the international standard, so that we can, like, the international credit, like, it is applicable everywhere. It is in compliance to the international market also, so we can get the more liquidity in the market, right? So that is what the overall framework says, but it depends how it is implementing, what will be the what will be the.
But one thing, madam, whether it is implemented via abatement technology cost or buying of carbon credits from some other company,
Mhm.
ultimately it adds up into the cost of the production. Whatever you say is slightly cost of production. So basically, our products,
Mhm.
if you strictly follow all these guidelines, our products may be little costlier.
Yeah,
If China doesn't follow those things,
that.
China will dump. So we may not be competitive. That's a big cry, right? Our
Mhm.
industries.
That is true.
So
So
we sincerely follow, and we cost will go up. China doesn't follow; they dump in the international market all the steel and their products.
yes.
Uh, so no one is controlling. In fact, the United Nations is supposed to be monitoring. I think this initiative is UN, right? All this Kyoto Protocol and carbon credit, the
Mhm.
UN initiative, but UN is a very they're only proposing, recommending only, but they can't enforce. That's a big problem.
Yes. One of the problem is that right now, when we say COPE and all, it's not a proper mandate system. It's like a commitment thing that we will do this, and we will achieve net zero. We will reduce our CO2 emissions intensity by certain limit. We will install certain renewable energy capacity. So all these are commitments. So there is no kind of a mandate system even now. That is
Uh,
one of the problem. And uh,
And in fact, there is nothing in the from the UN side. There is no mandate. UN is totally becoming ineffective. There's only all this like a picnic. Actually, I'm just I'm just going into different topic. If you look at all the wars, what is happening and all that, it's becoming a big farce. UN is just a picnic spot for people. Nothing happens. People come and talk something. Everyone talks whatever they want, and no one agrees anything. Even if agrees, someone veto comes. Basically, like what you said, no, it is only like recommending and commitment things, but the enforcement and mandates,
yeah,
and
in fact,
there's not expected.
in the case of environment, I can comment. I have to look into the history and all this kind of political things, which I have very less knowledge of. But in this environmental thing, I can say that even now, like, the developed country and developing country are fighting to come into a conclusion or come into a proper negotiation system that optimal, like, now it's very high time to reduce the CO2, or to uh, uh, in Paris Agreement, they said that the increase in 1 degree increase in the global temperature will, after beyond that,
We try
if there is,
see
if there is increment, then we will face a irreversible impact, right? So our goal is to keep it within that limit. So then a lot of studies happens, but at the end the mandate is not there, and many a times many countries back off, like.
Yeah. For example, we took a goal. I think by 2030 we'll reduce so much of tons of CO2 or something
Mhm.
by going in for electric and renewable.
Mhm.
But that's only a commitment we took. But I don't know whether other countries took uh,
Yeah,
that
all
one.
the countries will submit their INDC, so intended nationally determined contribution. So they will submit in each of the COP that to UNFCCC, that we will, like, all their target will be submitted after the negotiation with in the uh, within across the countries. They will negotiate, and then they will come across certain kind of numbers that they will improve in terms of RE install capacity or reduction of CO2 intensity. So
Uh,
yeah, these are the things. Now,
Okay. Go ahead.
yeah, in
Uh,
the taxation system, we have Pigovan tax system. So, Pigovan tax system is applied to internalize the impact of externality caused by the externality caused by any kind of harm to the environment or to the society. So, uh, normally the private private marginal benefit. Yes.
Nothing, madam. Go ahead. Go ahead. I think it's
Normally what we do is private marginal benefit is intersected at private marginal cost, right? So this Q1 amount is the one which a company will try to get. However, however, there is marginal damage which is being done. So it is added to the private marginal cost, and this we get this red line. So by adding marginal damage which the polluter company is doing to the society, we get the social marginal cost. So when we intersect social marginal cost with the private marginal benefit, then we get quantity Q2. So this Q1 minus Q2 is the overproduction amount which we are getting. So this overproduction uh, uh, to avoid this, then we have to levy some taxation system. So then Pigovan tax comes into picture. So it will be because of overproduction or overconsumption. So overconsumption by the user or overproduction by the producer. So with this, I am finishing up the lecture. So after this, there is two main thing, that is carbon tax and permit system. Okay, so carbon tax is when we are levying for CO2 production. So that is for the uh, that is cost system. Okay, and in emission tax system, sorry, in permit system, tradable permit system, what we do is we fix certain amount of quantity. So the regulation is done on the quantity of CO2 in the case of tradable pollution permit, and in the emission, the regulation is levied in the price in the case of emission tax system. So in both this thing we are comparing, then we can say that not effect emission tax system is not effective when regulators want fixed amount of pollution. So when the amount of pollution in the air or in certain area is fixed, then tradable pollution permit is more preferable rather than emission tax system. Next one, when policymaker wants certainty over the marginal abatement cost, then we can say that emission tax system is more preferable, more effective. And the third point is pollution control responsibility is not decided by regulator, but rather decided by firm by equating the tax amount T with the respected marginal abatement cost. So this is the emission tax system. And in pollution permit system, what we do is each of the firm is allocated certain amount of pollution that they can make, beyond which they have to pay the penalty. So here the TPP does not ensure the certainty over the cost. So after that, we have compared two cases, which is uniform standard versus the tax system. Okay, so in this thing, what we can say is that in the uniform standard, plant A and plant B both have to reduce its emission irrespective of marginal abatement cost. However, in the emission tax system, plant A will abate more because its cost of abatement is lesser, and plant B will abate less because its cost of abatement is more. So uh, here, because of the tax system, the effectiveness in terms of economy is more rather than uniform standard system in which all the plants are asked to do certain kind of pollution abatement. So this is comparison of market based instrument with respect to uniform standard system. So then we have looked into the uh, game theoretic analysis where global abatement and cost. So let's say that if a country is polluting, then marginal damage which a country caused on its own country, that is J, and marginal damage caused to all the countries, some, MDS. So, if I do not follow any kind of global commitment, then this is my QN, this is the amount which I will reduce. That is abatement for non-cooperation. If I cooperate with a global commitment, then QC will be the amount which I will reduce. So, this is the global commitment thing, that marginal abatement cost and marginal damage, if you equate and intersect, then you get two kind of intersection point. First is for individual country and second is for all the countries in total. So from here we get QN and QC. N is for non-cooperation and C is for cooperation. So if you cooperate, you have to abate more. But many a times a country will free ride rather than abatement. So now we are above time. So please look into this lecture slide. So I want to focus on last two slides. Okay. So we have talked about the total economic value, right? So total economic value have two types: use value and non-use value. Okay. In use value also, direct use value, indirect use value, option values, and in non-use value, bequest value and existence value. Okay. So direct use value means any kind of value which you use directly from the environment. So that is called direct use value. And in indirect use value, benefit which you get indirectly, like let's say that flood control, recreation of your health, or because of certain wetland, the water of ground, the groundwater is restored. So these are indirect use. Okay, so the direct use which you get from environment, indirect. And then option value is that you keep the option open for future. So in this case we call it future value. And then bequest value is for keeping the value of environment for future generation. And in existence value, what we do is just because of mere existence of Amazon forest, we are enjoying that there is certain satisfaction in us, right? So this kind of value is existence value. Okay, so these are all economic value which we give to the environment. Now how to calculate the how to value this kind of value. Okay, this kind of economic value of environment. So since there is no direct market, we have to do some analysis, or we have to do some use some valuation tools, right? We have to use some valuation tools so that we get into the conclusion that this forest total value is this much. If we cut this forest, then our benefit is this much. So by cost benefit analysis, then we can come to the conclusion whether to establish a mall at a certain place or not. So for this case, what we do is, let's say that for direct use value, wood products, non-wood products, educational, recreational, or cultural uses, or for human habitat, the valuation tool will be market analysis, related goods approach, and then travel cost method. We have covered this one, and then we have covered contingent valuation method, and then we have covered hedonic pricing. So in travel cost method, what we do is we look into the money which individual will spend extra to enjoy the nature, to enjoy the clean environment. So by this travel cost which a person is incurring to enjoy the nature, the value is given to the environment. So in the travel cost method. In contingent valuation method, we ask each of the person, how much do you want to pay for cleaner environment, or how much do you want extra money if I cut this forest or if I degrade the environment. So by calculating the willingness to pay for cleaner environment or willingness to accept for degraded environmental values, then from this we give the value to the environment. So in the third case, in the hedonic pricing, what we do is from indirect market, like from housing market, we are finding the economic value of green area. So indirectly from any other kind of market, if we are trying to find the value of certain environmental resources, then it is termed as hedonic pricing. So hedonic pricing and travel cost method only calculate the use value. They are not used to calculate the non-use value. However, contingent valuation method is used in use as well as non-use values. Okay, so the method and all the explanations for each of the valuation tools is done in detail in the previous lectures. However, if we sum up, then we can say that travel cost method and hedonic pricing are capturing the economic value of used value only. However, in contingent valuation method, then we can say that it is capturing both the use as well as non-use value of environmental resources. So these are various kind of environmental values, and then how to give the valuation in terms of money. So with this, I will end up the session, but if you have any question, then you can ask.
Nothing, madam. So, in fact, you've given me a beautiful roundup review